Hi folks, it's Florida Man here, trying as usual to increase the total amount of joy in the diplomacy world, one video at a time. I hope the new year has been finding everyone well, now that the first month is over and you are all keeping to your New Year's resolutions. Today I'm doing an after-action report of a live game I played titled Funday. We played this on Play Diplomacy. I played as Italy, and although the game didn't go as well as my games sometimes do, I thought it was fun nevertheless. Please enjoy. In spring 1901, I begin by pushing for a move on France by myself, Germany, and England. Germany is unwilling, however, to make any kind of commitment, and England is essentially the same way, so I end up choosing to open ambiguously. On the bright side, Austria is agreeable to a cordial relationship with me, and I at least feel secure on one front for that reason. Interestingly, with the processing of orders, I see France opened in what I would consider to be a somewhat anti-German way, so it seems Germany may have made a mistake in not wanting to work with me against them. Germany opened in a very anti-Russian way, putting everything possible into an offensive against Russia, apparently without coordinating with anyone else. When I asked Austria about it, Austria said that he was expecting Russia to do a coordinated bounce in Galicia, and Austria was not expecting to be in a position to attack Russia at all, and Germany's moves certainly were not coordinated with them. Austria also told me that Russia said I was going for Austria, which was a lie, and in this case kind of a dumb lie, because it was debunked by my moves immediately, as soon as the spring processed. The trend of players telling dumb lies early on in games that can be easily disproven very quickly is always kind of annoying, and you will observe that the result of doing so will not be favorable to Russia here. In fall, I break one of my usual rules by moving into Tyrolia. The intention here is to go after Germany, and I tell Austria as much, while naturally telling Germany that my intention is to go after Austria. But it's becoming probable in my mind that a Western Triple is happening, and because of that, I am immediately interested in taking Germany down a peg, causing the Triple to fall apart, and maybe causing Germany's neighbors to turn on Germany, sensing weakness. I'm getting better vibes from France than from Germany at this point as well, so I actively decide that I will temporarily work with France to hopefully bring Germany down. This is wildly different from how I normally play, and we will see if ignoring my own better judgment ends up being a good idea. In the build phase, you'll see Austria does not build in Trieste, while I build an additional army in Venice. Austria has developed a pretty firm trust in me by now, and the Austrian player is showing it with this move, which is pleasantly surprising, and would ideally be the basis for working together over a long period of time. In spring, Austria proposes that I go for Bohemia with Austrian support, and Austria simultaneously moves to Silesia, giving us overwhelming force relative to Munich. It's also in this season when Russia, whose game has not been going very well, comments in the public press that he might go out because his internet connection isn't good. This is really his way of saying that he's going to surrender because he doesn't like how the game is going, and I'm calling this player out, not by name, but I'm calling this player out because he has a very frequent habit of surrendering games that are not going well, to the point that the majority of his games he has not survived to the end of have been surrenders by him. So I do not believe for a moment that the issue was his internet. This player needs to know surrendering like this is very poor manners. Again, not calling him out by name. I do not want to harass this player, but I find this to be the worst etiquette in online diplomacy. In fall, I take Munich. You will notice this was a mistake. This should never have happened. It is pretty much always a mistake when Italy attacks Germany early on. I am so mad at myself. This is a point I've hammered home in my own videos on strategy when playing Italy. And I'm not going to be able to hold this center. You will see. On the bright side, in spring 1903, I begin repositioning to go after one of my proper early targets, France. At the same time, England begins attacking France, and what will become a pincer attack will be effective here. In fall 1903, I take Marseille. England takes Brest in the mid-Atlantic Ocean, and Germany takes Belgium. I also turn on Austria and begin working with Turkey, causing me to take Greece. The only unfortunate thing from my short-term perspective was that I lost Munich, but that was inevitable. From a long-term perspective, I think I might have been better served by taking Austria's side against Turkey rather than the reverse. In the build phase, I get another fleet. Spring 1904, England helps me into Spain, while France retakes Marseille and allows Germany back into Munich. I also lose Greece in this season, but the compensation for that is that my Turkish ally gets Bulgaria, and since I retreat to Albania, Austria's recapture will be short-lived. Fall 1904, I retake Marseille and Greece, and England walks into Portugal unopposed, reducing France to a single center. Coincidentally, this was also the year when France surrendered. Austria messages Turkey and I about how strong England has become, and we discuss the idea of ceasing hostilities, but ultimately nothing comes of it. In the build phase, I get yet another fleet. Spring 1905, I take Trieste off of Austria, and England and I rearrange units in the west to finish France off and hopefully begin demilitarizing our shared border areas. Turkey takes Moscow with English permission. A new France appears. Fall 1905, Turkey takes Serbia from Austria. At this point, I start discussing what outcome for the game would be desirable with Turkey. Personally, I was leaning toward making my usual attempt to try and get a solo somehow, but I was looking for an opening by which to do so. So I'm asking Turkey whether we want to stab England or go for a 3-power draw. Turkey is kind of not that committed to the idea of stabbing England, and is more interested in the 3-power draw idea, which is a shame because I would have ideally worked with Turkey against England, since Turkey is about the same strength as me, while England is noticeably more powerful and better positioned than either of us. So if Turkey isn't on my side, I'm pretty clearly going to have to accept a 3-power draw. In the build phase, Turkey and I both build all armies, which would be good either for fighting England or for turning on each other, which makes me much less uneasy than new Turkish fleets would. Spring 1906, Germany makes it very easy for England to finish them off, which drastically increases the difficulty of any plan to turn on England at this point, making England far and away the strongest power on the map. Turkey's moves here could be in preparation for attacking England, which is what I was hoping would happen, but in fall 1906, we see Turkey does not follow through with that potentiality. Warsaw was open to walk into, and instead Turkey holds tight and sits contentedly in the centers he already has. If I don't have Turkey as an ally against England, or vice versa, the best I can do here is a draw, so I accept the overwhelming wish of both of my allies is to go for a draw right now, and I also accept, before the draw somehow squeezes me out. The final position of the board looks like this. Well, the game was not quite what I had hoped it might be, but it was not an Italian defeat per se, so I can say that it was almost like a victory. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you liked this video, and if so, I hope you'll show it with your likes, your subscribes, and your comments. And until next time, Florida Man, out.